You know, the early years of photography, if you wanted your portrait taken, you went to a studio. And actually, it wasn't until, I believe, the Brownie Kodak camera came into popularity that amateur photography became popular.
Nearly 2 trillion photos are taken every year. That's 5 billion a day, 57,000 a second. We record all the moments of our lives. Not long ago, taking a photo was a more thoughtful process, especially for LGBTQ+ people. Robert Young, a librarian at Quinnipiac University, has collected old photographs since he was a teen. Most of his collection is portraits of male couples.
I began noticing in a number of my photos, what we would say would be images showing affection between men. Someone with their arm around their shoulders, snuggling up, heads touching, things like that. So I became interested in that type of imagery, and I started wondering, does this show LGBTQ history?
About 50 photos in Young's collection are of Roger Pegram and Frank Bouchon, a gay couple in the 1950s.
They're interesting because they capture a wide swath of their lives, holidays, vacations, gathering with friends. There isn't a lot of intimacy, or what we would probably consider intimacy, in the photos.
The photos had notes on the back with names and dates. Research led Young to eventually make connections with those still alive who knew them.
I've spent about 12 years now researching the men's lives, their friends' lives. I've met family members, co-workers, people that knew them.
The couple split up in 1959, but remained close.
But the photos kind of give us another view of the 50s. We kind of think of the 50s as being, suburbia, mom and dad, 2 kids and a dog, but these photos provide a glimpse of gay life at that time, which is quite rare.
Young is working on a book about the couple and hopes their lives continue to impact others. But not all photos of gay couples come with so many details. Young tells the story of a couple in Philadelphia whose wedding ceremony photos from 1957 exist by sheer luck.
They dropped the film off at a camera store, and when the pictures were developed, the owner of the camera store saw, of course, what the subject was and refused to give the photos back to the couple. They said that the film had been ruined.
A woman who worked in the camera shop kept the prints, and when she died, her children inherited these photos and gave them to an archive in Southern California. The identity of the 2 men remains a mystery. While Young's collection focuses mostly on men, he acknowledges that there are others across the country focusing on lesbians and people of color.
That would have been our life.
The documentary Real in the Closet explores home movies going back to the 1940s of LGBTQ+ couples living their lives during a repressive time.
Whenever I share these photos, like on a Facebook group for LGBTQ history or vintage photos that are of interest to gay men, I get such a huge response, from the community, showing that, we've always existed. We've been here. We've had lives.
Carmen Chow, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.